Wow, this is very exciting indeed. This is the first broadcast of the Astral Vortex that I'm putting out. So it's really great to be here finally live. I actually waited to get a better internet connection because where I am in the forest here in Brisbane, I haven't had such a connection. So it's so good to finally be doing these lives and just sharing some stuff with you that's kind of important regarding the astral experience. So many of you will know what I'm about, and I'm an astral travel teacher, astral traveler, a Reiki master living in Brisbane. In fact, we've got an astral travel workshop coming up just this Sunday that's booked out, and just having a look at a few things, making sure things are working, and I believe they are. So anyway, it's wonderful to be actually here on YouTube and Facebook talking about the astral situation. So this Astral Vortex, I'll be doing weekly, talking about the subjects that help you most regarding the astral experience, what the astral experience is not and what it is, and how best to actually help you get there. So tonight I'm looking at, I actually had a title about the blockages that get in the way from you having an astral experience. And later on, you can ask me some questions on that too. So each week I'll be looking at different topics. And it's kind of good to start at the beginning. And I think the whole notion of what blocks us from having the experience is a good one. Hang on, I'm just doing something here. Yeah, if you're patient with me, because I'm doing all sorts of things. And really, if you think of it, I mean, I've kind of had a free pass with the astral experience, and this first started with me. A few of you will already know my story, but I started having the experience 26 years ago now. It's just at the end of last century, and it was spontaneous for me. So I wouldn't have gone looking for that experience. But knowing what I know now, I certainly would go looking for that experience. So if we and when I mentioned the free pass, it kind of makes it easier then to recreate an astral experience because I know that it's totally safe. In fact, more than safe, it's just a beautiful experience, transformative experience to have, because there is the phenomenon of astral travel, but it's more than the phenomenon. When you get out there and have these experiences, it actually, what I realize is it is actually a spiritual thing, in that it works on your particular trauma, works on healing these trauma, and often this deep embedded trauma we don't even know we have. So, it is a lot of fun out there, and there's a lot of stuff you can do, adventuring and all that. But in the end, meeting guides, meeting beings from other realms, past lives, time travel, in realities that are more real than this reality. That's why it's such an incredible sense that we have. But if I hadn't had that free pass, I wouldn't know how to get in there. And that's why a lot of people find me doing courses and come to me and learn about astral travel. So it's important to address the fears around it. And I think it's a good place to start with the astral experience. Like, what are the fears? Why aren't people having more of this experience consciously? What are the blockages? Why are they there? Where have they come from? And how we can alleviate them. So that's what we'll look at a bit tonight. And I'll throw it open to you as well for questions. That's what I like about the notion of doing this live. So first of all, I've actually written a few things so that I don't get off topic as well, which is good. Some of the biggest questions that people have with the astral experience is that, will they return to their body if they leave? And what can really allay your fears in this is, first of all, yes, you will return. At some stage, you will want to go to the loo. You will want to go to the bathroom. That'll wake you up. So generally what I'm alluding to is it happens when you're sleeping anyway. That's the prime astral experience. The classic astral experience happens when you're sleeping. And you can always come back. Whenever you have an experience, you are so lucid in that astral experience. As I've said, it's actually more real than this reality, but you are so lucid that at any time you can choose to abort wherever you are and come back into the body. And it's as simple as just forcing your eyes open, just gently forcing your eyes open, or even just thinking of your physical body. So there are these kind of, if you like, protocols that are in place in the astral experience. And that's what I like about the experience. It's such a beautiful, benign, benevolent, loving, transformative, fun, adventurous experience. And also, I think the other fear we have is, will someone body snatch us when we're out? And that's because there was actually a great series on I think it was a BB series, a couple of years ago. I think it was called Beneath Her Skin. No, well, it wasn't the Scarlett Johansson one. I think it could have been called that. Anyway, I'll find out what that was, but you'll see it on the BBC. It was really good. It was going toward, it was about the astral experience. It was a mainstream show series on the BBC, and it was broadcast in Australia on the ABC. However, at the end, it did kind of dissolve into that whole notion of body snatching or changing bodies. That's just not going to happen, okay? Because you have your sovereign being, like you occupy a physical body. You occupy this space for a reason. So your soul has its sovereignty there, and this is something we'll get into tonight as well. And this gets into the realm of kind of protection. So look, I do my protocol does involve protection when I'm going out. I'll talk a little bit about that, and it's not really negative or over defensive. You could call it empowerment. There's so many ways of falling into that really good space when you fall asleep. So you're actually we call it sleep hygiene. We're actually promoting the astral experience in a positive way. So that has a lot to do with protection as well. But looking at the blockages, I mean, okay, first of all, number one is that all of us, all of you, astral travel, all of you have astral travel, all of you do astral travel. You may not just be remembering it. Now, you may have had an experience as a kid, maybe a lucid dream. When I say lucid dream, waking up in the dream. So a lucid dream is like a finger on the same hand as the astral travel. It's different to astral travel in that astral travel is more lucid than a lucid dream, in that you're in a hyper real state. So even this 3D becomes less real compared to the astral states. That's why it's so transformative. So generally, everything that's happening in the astral generally is resonating with your story, has some reason to be accompanying you, has some reason that you have been taken to that particular realm or dimension. And I call this I'll be calling this series, I am calling this series the Astral Vortex, because for a reason, often these wormholes do come. And and some of this language, it's interesting to start with seeing, where does it resonate with you? Does it hit you in the solar plexus if I say the word vortex? We're often shown, the programming that's on movies about this experience, that it's somehow kind of a bit of a brutal experience or very way out. And I've examined this state of mind because it is quite way out, but it's absolutely beautiful. So as you've probably realized, this reality, we're often skewered towards certain directions. Like, we present certain things are presented in the mainstream in a negative light, like the whole alien concept. And fortunately, I wasn't into those movies before I met aliens in the astral. And when I saw myself as an alien in a past life, it blew me away, and it made sense. And the transformative nature of the astral is that you have an experience, and immediately your physical body, I'll say your physical body, and your field immediately has a change, and there's a certain knowledge that has been imparted with you. So getting back to the fears and the blockages, it's really good to tune into your body. Okay, your body is kind of the ultimate litmus test for where you're at with any subject. So if you tune into your body and see how it makes you feel, the notion of leaving your body, how do you actually feel about that? Now, when I think of leaving the body, I actually smile, like my heart smiles, because it is a heart-centered experience. So to just tune into how you are feeling. But sometimes my solar plexus will start to pulsate, and then I'll put my hands there at night and put light into it. I'll just imagine putting healing into my solar plexus. So, and the solar plexus has a lot to do with identity. So if that part of my body is starting to kind of react to the notion of going out, then I'll think, well, what's that about? And identity is a big one. So the solar plexus has a lot to do with how we perceive ourselves, how we see others as perceiving ourselves. The notion of identity, if we think of, what do we think we are? Also, I'd like to thank you for joining, by the way. Welcome for coming along. I can't actually see who's there, but I see there's 7 of you live at the moment. You can fire questions, and especially later on when, because I'll probably go off topic, but you can always let me know questions or any comments as we go along. And I'm quite new to this whole thing of seeing of the whole live thing, so I appreciate your patience with me. But staying on topic, okay, before we get to questions anyway, to as I said, to move into those states of, it's actually been proven that the human being to grow needs to take risks. We need to have a certain amount of danger/adventure in our lives to grow. If you don't give that to a child, they actually don't grow properly. Their brain doesn't develop properly. Their body, their cells don't actually develop. So we are primed for a certain amount of adventure/danger. Now, when I say the word danger, how do you react to that? Because the mainstream, the way you've been brought up, danger has this very negative connotation. But like as a kid, like I loved, climbing up cliffs with my fingers and almost falling off, and so many accidents, that kind of thing. So when I look into my wiring as a child, I like to take certain risks. And of course, they're calculated risks. So I think to that notion of adventure, like Joseph Campbell, talks about the hero's journey, that kind of thing. Sorry, I saw that my thing is dropping out there. If my video drops out, I'll just change to another camera. But that notion of the hero's journey is very apt to the whole experience, the astral experience, where there's that call to adventure is an important thing. And a lot of astral travelers, we talk about that amongst ourselves. A lot of people doing these kind of spiritual activities, if you like, talk about that call to adventure. And with the astral, it's very much that. If I reverse engineer my experience, and that's what I use when I teach people, which makes it a lot easier, you get into that vibe of it. And so the notion of the call to adventure is got to be a heart-based adventure with the astral. What I've found is that the heart chakra is the one that's very active in the astral experience, the heart and third eye. And if you think of what they represent. So to even now, at this very early stages, I think anybody who's watching this kind of video about the astral obviously has interest. So for you to think about what kind of intention, what you would like to experience in the astral that comes from a loving perspective, because that immediately gets you into that kind of meta state, which is like a loving state, a heart state. So to have a heart-based intention. My first astral experience was down a wormhole. There were aliens, and I came back with this ecstatic kind of love because I knew it was kind of home. I visited a place that was home, more real than this reality. So I couldn't ignore it. It was just so profound. And all the experiences you have are kind of etched into a hard drive that you cannot forget, that is far more kind of real than the quicksand of 3D. So when I look back at those initial experiences I had, that, as I said, were a free pass for me because I hadn't gone looking for the experience. They were very heart-based, as in the heart was really full of this beautiful light, beautiful energy, very loving, kind of an ecstatic energy. So there is that notion of that. So to know that this is something that is natural, it's inbuilt into our systems. Everybody astral travels most nights. This is one thing you've got to know. We need to leave the body. And I've watched this. So in the beginning, I'd get out like a ghost and I'd watch people leave their physical bodies before dawn. And it was like this translucent energy body and all these lights would come into the body. How I took it was that the astral body is like a prism where these vital energies, um, to enter the physical, they need to come through the astral body first. Okay, so your astral body is leaving, but you're just not always conscious doing it. So when you get conscious doing it, it's like all of a sudden you've been, on this kind of like hobby horse as a kid, not quite knowing what you're doing, rocking back and forward. And then all of a sudden you're handed the wheel of a Maserati or something. It really is like a sports car. It's like this incredible, wow, like you can travel consciously. Anyway, we'll be getting more into that. So it is a profoundly positive experience. So when I first started getting out, I knew somebody, I was living in Vienna at the time, this is in 1999. And someone who I knew was doing kind of psychic stuff. They said to me, "Don't do it. Beware. This is very dangerous. It's unnatural. Shouldn't do it." And I really thought about that. I remember, going back home, and she freaked me out a bit. Actually, it was probably quite good to hear that kind of warning. But I kept going out anyway, and so I developed this protocol of, and it's part of the protection protocol, and part of the intention is that I would tell myself, um, almost for self reassurance, because I was going out of body so often anyway. But I would tell myself, um, "Oh, there's comments there. Sorry, I'm finally realizing. Oh, sorry, guys. I'll show Phil's comments. Oh, g'day, Phil. How are you? Hello, brother Phil. You're in New Zealand. Thank you so much for joining. This is the first time I realised you can see comments. Oh, hilarious. But hey, Light Path there. Thanks for joining. Actually, it's funny you said "Hey Gray" rather than "Hey Greg," because early on, before I went astral, and I went to see this craniosacral person in Vienna, and she kind of gave me this energy healing, and then there was this translucent wolf that was in front of me. It was like a black grey wolf, and this wolf was in front of me for a couple of days. And there was a transformative entity that as well that I hold it, but it was like a translucent wolf for like 48 hours in front of me. It was huge. That precipitated the astral experiences. So that's why I became an energy healer, and because I found that shifting of my energy field. Here we go. There's another comment here. I'm realizing how this works now. Comments. Hey, Linda, how are you? Oh, hello, Canada. Great to see you, Linda. And yeah, I realize there's comments here, so this is great that I can see this. Okay, so I've got to set public on that. Yeah, I'll do that at some stage on Facebook too. So apologies to those who can't actually see their comments, or I don't see them. I'll work that out as I go along. But anyway, I was talking about that wolf experience I had, and I'll just hide that comment for now. Very, very smart. Anyway, it was that I'll tell you quite briefly, but the experience, I was at a craniosacral, I guess you call it a healing. She was a therapist, and I remember she put her fingers into my mouth and fired them into my gums, telling me that I hadn't transmuted the energy of anger within my body. I hadn't been able to express this feeling, so it had been stuck there. And my gums got so hot that night. Then I woke up the next morning, and there was this translucent wolf in front of me growling. It was a grey wolf with green eyes, growling, growling, growling. And I was freaking out because I'd never had any kind of experience like this. As I said, it precipitated the astral experiences. Then the next day, after a couple of days, I finally confronted my housemate at the time and had a good argument on certain issue that I needed to. And I was able to stay with it. I was able to stay lucid as I argued. I didn't run away energetically. I didn't kind of leave the scene. I was able to communicate very well without getting too head up or too caught up or too charged. I felt a difference in the way I argued my case. Subtle, but it was a big difference at the time. And then this wolf licked me on the face and went to the corner. Then I realized this wolf was an ally. And this was the beginning of the journey of me of guides and spirit guides, and this whole notion that we are being worked on from these other realms, that we are being helped and guided, we are being transformed, we are being enlightened, if you like. When I say enlightened, of our trauma. So, it would be an understatement to say that to be human is to have trauma. So I think that's what being human is all about. So losing the charge of this trauma in a nutshell, the astral is fantastic at kind of quick stepping, or kind of like it's a fast. I'm looking for a word there, but it's kind of like a fast drive to healing these things. Anyway, so getting back to these blockages within you. So just to talk on this subject helps allays like to feel into your body now and feel where these blockages are within you is really good. Like if you close your eyes now, if I talk about leaving your body at night, how does that feel? Do you feel abandoned? Do you feel vulnerable? Do you feel too open? How do you feel about surrender? So when I talk on this, I feel this smile, and I'm lucky because I had many experiences. And I know it's really good. I know that the astral is a guided experience. So getting back to what I was saying before, this, everybody's getting out of body, but we're not always conscious. And I often wondered, like, why am I like a ghost out here looking at this guy? What's going on? There are only a few humans I was meeting who are astral, and why isn't it a really common experience to get astral? If I think back, when I was a child, I used to get lucid a lot. I'd hear noises. And did you know that one of the two main fears when you're a baby, actually, though apparently, two main fears we all have growing up, this is like when we're toddlers, before we're verbal, are of being dropped and loud noises. And the astral experience, you can often have a bit of both. Often you can feel a dropping out effect, that feeling when you're sleeping and all of a sudden you feel you fall. So we have to circumnavigate our subconscious programming that tells us this is a very bad thing to fall, because we often fall out of our body. Literally, there is no gravity in astral, so you can fall out of your body. You can literally fall to the side, you can fall out, you can fall up, because there's no gravity. And it's that feeling of you've lost control. The other fear that we're programmed with, if we look at a hard drive, if this is as a mortal child, toddler, baby coming into this incarnation in 3D, is of loud noises. Now, if when you go in the astral, especially in the beginning, when your third eye opens, you focus on your third eye long enough when you fall asleep. Just you put your eyeballs upward toward, think of a triangle, toward your brow. And even when you set up an Astral Vortex at home, and there are exercises to do this, and I'll go through some of these soon, but you'll often hear a very loud sound, like a very loud sound. It's like a popping. It's literally your astral body, popping this balloon that is around it that stops it from experiencing more consciously. So this sudden sound, the feeling of dropping, two of our most primal fears as humans. Now, our subconscious, what I found is this. Our subconscious thinks it's doing its best for it. It's programmed. When I say subconscious, I'm being loose with this. It's kind of like our hard drive, if you like, And you see this in the astral too. You see the programming. You literally see it. It's kind of like tech. You see it in a technical kind of way. So we need to circumnavigate it. We need to get around that. So when I set up an astral vortex in a certain area, and often I'll hear a scream or a breaking of glass, this is to signify to me that I've made that connection. It's irrelevant what that sound is. We're programmed through like horror movies, even cartoons early on, that these are bad things, sudden breaking of glass. Funny thing is, you break a mirror, I think it gives you good luck, doesn't it? Someone screaming out, that primordial scream as a child, it's the first thing we do. It's actually like our voice breaking into this reality. They look for babies to cry, newborns to cry, because they're breaking into this reality. We need to cry to let this reality know we're here. It's the same from these higher realities. They need sometimes to let you know. So you meet them halfway. So the programming changes very much. Fear of the dark is another one. Okay, that'd be the third biggest fear. Think back to our predecessors, our ancestors, with fire in the dark to protect us from predators. Now, the void of very dark places where we often go in the astral, and this place is very, very dark, and often you just want to leave there. And you hear the om there, by the way. But when you just relax, when you kind of release the charge, release that trigger to want to run, because it's vast, it's black, there's nothing. It is so divinely beautiful. So what I found, these three biggest fears, if you kind of ruminate on them, think about them, even just meditate on them, even just to put your attention on them, to meditate on them, to think about them for a while, you'll find you'll actually dissolve it. You don't have to do anything, just to think about the notion of dark. You're actually shining the light of awareness into that, and you will dissolve the fear of it. See where it builds in your body, put your hand there. It's a physiological thing. Where does dark affect you? Does it get you in the solar plexus once again? Does it get you in your sacral chakra, throat chakra, heart? Put your hand wherever your body is affected. It's physiological, it's energy. It's not about words, it's not about logic. It's much, much more than that. So to sit in a dark space, very, very good. A lot of people are afraid to go astral because they think, oh, it'll be dark. So then imagine the lounge room or any safe space you're projecting to be light. A lot of people are getting out of body and not even knowing it because their room is dark. All you've got to do is say lights on and you will see. So in the beginning, it is like training wheels. And I mentioned before this assurance that I often tell myself. And when this woman told me in Austria that, do not go out of body, it's a dangerous thing. And I really thought about it. I just sat with it for a while. And I was convinced that this is not a negative thing. It was so big. A part of me just thought, bugger it, I'm going to do it anyway. And I felt this sense of adventure, this call to adventure that many writers, many philosophers, Joseph Campbell being one, a classic, this notion of the hero's journey, going to where you dare not venture, stepping over the edge. And there are many other ways of doing this as well. And I'm talking taking measured, intelligent risks, and that's what these are. So I would tell myself, I believe this is in my greatest good. I still remember vividly sitting back in my little apartment back in Vienna, being scared of these experiences because of what I was told from people, but knowing they were beautiful. And I would reassure myself. I would close my eyes and say, I'm so grateful to leave my physical body because I know this is in alignment with my highest good, my highest purpose. I know this. And I'm thankful for the guidance. I'm thankful for the help from my higher self. And I don't say this just as lip service. My higher self has talked to me in the astral. My higher self has taken me to places. My higher self that sounds like me, but it comes through my crown, resonates almost like through an electrical kind of resonator, knows a lot more about these realms of existence that I know. So literally my higher self. My guides, they've showed themselves as well. So it is a guided experience. If you've sometimes felt pinned down in the astral, okay, let's get straight to that point too. These are these other people say, oh, I've had experiences, I felt out of body and I felt someone's pushing my chest. And the thing is, everything is playing a role. Like if everybody were to go astral, is the realms of immediate manifestation, realms of phenomenal transformation and moving into your power in a positive sense. If everybody were to go out kind of half-baked into this realm, who knows what would go on. And I know Phil, we talked on last week's podcast I did with you about if everyone would become suddenly telepathic, you want to clean up your thoughts. It's the same kind of thing. Maybe, I don't play video games, but maybe it is this question of getting to a certain level, then you're ready to go out there and adventure, because there are lower astral entities that do sometimes knock you on the head or push you down and see what is your resilience. And these things that, it's like being a little kid wandering out the first time and the neighbor's dog comes over and gives you a bit of a nip on the ankle. Not necessarily negative. I mean, um, not at all negative. And after a while, these entities, they're threshold entities, what I call threshold entities. Okay, they exist in the fourth dimension, the classic astral dimension. So when I say astral traveling, of course, we transcend that dimension. That's the idea of it. But so there's a certain level of resistance there, and I get the sense that, so these entities now, when they see me go out of body, they leave me alone. They're actually scared of me. They actually see me. So that as soon as they see someone kind of shining their consciousness at them, um, they're gone. They leave the scene. Otherwise, they kind of play silly buggers and they hover around and they'll go boo, or they'll press you down, or they'll hang around and go ooh, like that. But really, it is our interpretation of that. Um, when I started getting game going astral, because I was having these beautiful experiences and I was meeting guides and going to other planets and um, you know, and seeing past lives and traveling back in time and forward in time, I would see these what I call little hindrances that are hovering at the end of my bed. Sometimes, these hairy little monsters, or sometimes beings that seemed a bit more, present. And I would just swear at them or say in the name of Jesus, whatever came up, at the time in the astral. And so it's amazing what you say. So you take whatever measures. So it's a little bit like, when you're a kid riding a bike and that little dog would, well, when I was a kid, dogs were allowed everywhere. We used to have this street that ran parallel to where I lived. We used to call it the Bitey Dog Street because I'd ride my bike there, and this this dog would always run after me, and I'd be kicking at it off my bike. It's a little bit like that in the astral. So these beings through dualistic eyes, we're going to say they're negative. I would say they're not negative. They just play a role. They're a little bit pesky. You could call them gatekeepers to a certain extent, checking your resilience, checking how much consciousness you are taking with you, because these higher realms, as I said, are the realms of immediate manifestation. You call upon something, it is through the laws of resonance, it is just dropped into 3D. It's quite bizarre. So there is this sense of tremendous presence you have in the astral. When you meet beings in the astral, they are more present than the average human being. Like you look into their eyes, they're there. They are really there. And it's often, it's beguiling, but it's often a little bit intimidating in the beginning when they look at you and it's all telepathic, and and you can sense in your mind what parts of your brain are activating when you are telepathic. For some reason, it's nice to, what's it called when you move things with your mind? Forget that word. Um, I've got to make sure that I can see comments here, but I'll find a way of doing that. But anyway, so telekinesis is a thing that it's like the astral trains you these other senses of your brain, and you can feel in your brain. You can actually feel the physicality of your mortal brain being affected by what is happening when you use your astral senses. And you are moved to do things in the astral that you want to do in the physical. Telepathy, you're moved to. You're moved to fly. You can shape shift. You can feel the brain as you shift dimensions. Oh, hi, Darren there. I know I'm talking a lot of different. So Darren said here, "Hey Greg, have you ever seen other people's chakras, energy fields in the astral, and can you do healing on them using Reiki bioenergy?" Yes, you can. I've done this before, and it's really interesting. You're kind of like a novice when you're in the astral, and what you do is you just call it in. Okay, so you literally just call in whatever healing is appropriate. You don't have to be clever, is what I'm saying. So you have kind of an immediate connection. And in fact, Darren, it's a really good question. I'd say that is where I think the future, personally, of astral experience is using it for healing in this way. So when I've conducted on an astral body of someone in this reality, there, and I did this on as an experiment on my wife when I was living in Spain a few years ago. This is because she was right next to me in the bed. So I got astral. I'd asked her permission beforehand. Her astral body was out of her body. I sent healing to her leg, because she had this pain, because she had a leg injury from many years ago. Now, what I saw then was interesting. I just asked for energy from the universe, healing energy. Like it was like, I didn't even have to say the words. It was just the intention was there. Immediately, her leg, where there was this pain, it opened. I saw in her astral body, right, hovering above her physical, I saw this light. All of a sudden, whoop, this hole open up and this light blast out of her leg. So it was kind of the other way around to what I thought. I thought it'd go the other way. I got a shock, woke up. She got a shock, woke up. What happened in her leg? Immediately, a hole formed. For the next year, she had a calcified scar tissue in the form of like bony tissue extracted from this hole that opened up spontaneously when I did that healing in her physical body. So for that next year, it was a bit shit actually for her. But that deep chronic pain went away, subsided after that experience. So you got to be careful what you wish for. This is what I say about getting the astral. Like, so I had said to her, "Is it okay if I try healing on your legs?" She said, "Yeah, go for it." I did that healing. Immediately, her body threw out this calcified scar tissue. It was really fascinating to watch. So the body did it in its own way. It took her quite a while to get over that, but this was, 40 years. It was actually 37 years since the accident because she had it when she was a little kid. Years of this pain from this embedded injury. So that's what I'm saying. The astral knows much more than we do. We don't have to be clever. I've learned not to be clever. And if you think back to what I was talking about before about blockages, when you're a kid, you probably most likely had some kind of experience of the astral or lucid dreaming. We need to return to that state. And that's in many ways, now being a full-time healer and which incorporates astral travel, Reiki and astral travel and other things, it's kind of put me in that deliciously dumb state of mind where I'm less probably intellectual or less, I just kind of more instinctive with things. Doesn't mean I don't think about things, but I find that to get that brain into a neutral state and just to trust. This lends me to the next subject. So these fears we have of dropping, these fears we have of being dropped, the fears we have of the dark, the fears we have of loud noises. So really it's all a letting go. So the reason your body often cramps when you feel that dropping out, when you're probably going to go, you're probably going astral, but you just don't remember. So to cultivate this kind of frequency or vibration of surrender is really, really good. So to feel that, I can let go. So I'm surrendering to this greater aspect of myself. So to have these protocols, and this is something we'll get to more into other broadcasts, but this the greatest kind of form of protection is to have a heartfelt kind of intention, to want to go out of body and to know that you're guided. Give thanks for guidance. Give thanks for your higher self. Give thanks for the archangels, the ascended masters, all beings of light, love, and healing. Give thanks for their guidance, guiding into the astral, because they are listening. They're in these higher realms. We have to get halfway there because they're listening. So our antenna has to give off this signal, but needs to reach higher. So that is kind of like to dissolve these fears within you is really what I'm alluding to. So what I do in the beginning when I was told, it was a scary thing, don't do it, I knew it was in the interest of my higher good. And now having met many beings in the astral who are very, very, very present, because in the astral there is no time. It's literally all happening now. That's why you feel so ecstatic, and that's why everything is more real than this reality. That's to put it simply, because we have a reality that is based on linear, on time. So we're constantly catching up with the past or we're projecting the future. So we're not always fully present. So my advice to you is to get over these fears is to practice being fully, fully present. Put your awareness behind your eyes, because this also feeds into the third eye, eyes and heart. So right now, if you're there, you can even close your eyes, put everything just behind your eyes. Open your eyes now, and now you're with me. You're totally present. So ironically, to have the best chance of going astral, you want to practice being as present as you can, because then if you can be present in the physical, in your energies, then you can call upon them to also leave and be present elsewhere. Otherwise, your energy body, your physical body, all these various bodies are kind of distracted and moving all around and not really much control. It's not easy to be always in control of the astral body. Don't think that I'm always consciously controlling it. I wouldn't want to. That'd be quite tiring, actually. And often I'll abort a mission when it's just starting. I don't want to go out, And when I say mission, that's how it feels often, because you're taken to places, shown things that just burst your paradigm shatter it into a million pieces, which is the beautifully transformative object and idea of the astral experience. So one thing I just want to show you, I want to practice this thing as well, sharing screen. Oh, I can do this. Here is, oh, that's nifty. So as you can see there, I've got on, this is gregdoylepodio.com. I'll put links. I've got links up on this video, actually. That's the Breakthrough course. So I highly recommend that. Doing any kind of course, I've kind of tailored this course to take you through at your own speed. It's got MP3s you can download as well for the meditations, but I highly recommend this based on my own experience. And I've also got some meditations. This is a beauty, this Into the Void of Creation. This is carefully crafted frequencies as I take you on a guided meditation. And here I have, there are 3 meditations here, just taking you through the beginnings of the whole thing. But I highly recommend the course because it's helped many people get out of body. And just going back here. Yeah, did you see that then? Could you see what I was doing then? I think I could. And yeah, you did see it, didn't you? The other thing I want to show you while I'm practicing this whole thing. Okay, share this tab. Yep. And are you able to see this? I think you can see it. I'll make it a bit smaller. I'm not too good at this yet, as you can probably tell. Don't really know what I'm doing, totally with this shame. But this is my website that takes you through certain things. I do have a workshop this weekend. I think you can see this. Actually, maybe I'm do that. Could you see that tab then? I'll show it again. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Hang on. Thanks for your patience. Now you can see what I'm talking about. Probably had someone telling me that, Greg, what are you doing? You're crazy. So this, oh yeah, I'll go back here. Cool. And this is my website where you can see the kind of courses I do. Just to share with you, I do have a workshop this Sunday that's sold out, but I'm doing Reiki courses as well. Lots of other things on the website you can check out. But the other thing I wanted to show you, I'll go there now. Okay, that's cool. Is this other, okay, this one. Yeah. Excellent. Oh, very good. And you can see this one has, yeah, very good. So you can see this is where I have the online course, which is really helpful. I take you through at your own speed. Doesn't hurry. You can download all the meditations that come in the videos into MP3 as well. So it's a step-by-step thing that a lot of people have. It's really just helped them get past these fears as well. Meditations you can download as well. There's a few in that pack. This one's a great one, Into the Void of Creation, with certain frequencies to help. So I highly recommend these things. Okay, and now I can get that off, can I? Yeah. I'll go back to here again. No, go back to here. Okay, I'm going to say stop sharing. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Thanks for your patience. As I said, I'm quite new to all of this. So, but working on the fears, the sense of adventure, as I said before, having this call to adventure. We often talk about being in the comfort zone is not actually that good for you. So astral travel takes you out of the comfort zone, but it's very, very, very good for you. So if we think back to these programs, as I said early on, our subconscious is programmed to kind of keep us alive, keep us well at all costs. So what it thinks is well and alive might not necessarily be serving us now. As children, probably way back when, living in perhaps tribal situations, in caves or whatever, like the dark was perhaps scary, maybe because we couldn't see in the dark. Now the dark's fine for us. We're in houses. You're going to be safe in the dark, and the astral, you're safe. Um, we're still programmed in that primitive flight or fight brain, which you would have all heard about. So we need to a certain extent, unprogram that. Sitting in the dark, thinking about what is it, how do you feel in the dark, putting your hands over any chakras where the dark doesn't feel well in your body is very good at kind of healing that. Thinking of sudden noises. I'm not good with sudden noises, sudden screams from kids next door. I can't stand it, kind of thing. But the astral is a different thing. It's kind of a different kind of noise. It has a different vibe to it. You'll know it when you hear it. This feeling of dropping, surrender, like, are you prepared to let go? I guess the ultimate surrender, the ultimate as in last astral experience would be when we die. How do you feel about dying? The astral experience will actually remove the fear you have of death, which happens to everybody who's gone astral. This is built into the astral experience. So it's like your base chakra just loses that fear. It's just wiped from you because you somehow know that you're greater than this body. It's beyond the logical. It's beyond the intellectual. You don't have to discuss it with anyone. You don't have to read books on it. You know, after your first conscious astral experience, that death is not it. You know that your spirit lives on. You know it. And you know that you are more than this body, okay? You know that your spirit is around your body. Your body is actually a subset of the spirit, not the other way around. So your whole worldview, if you like, goes topsy-turvy for the better. So looking at this notion of surrender, like letting go, that can help you in this life. Like the trust, this notion of trust. We're brought up not to trust. We're brought up to constrict our base chakras, to constrict, to not trust, the system. But the system is much greater than the worldly system. It's a good thing not necessarily to trust our worldly system, but to trust something beyond all of this. So trust the earth, and one great way of alleviating tension and fears and trauma is to, from your base chakra, to tune in, like send a beam of light down from your chakra system down to the central core crystal of the earth and just drop away, just beam any tension down there, beam any tension toward the astral experience. Any stress, beam it down that light into the earth, and the earth will heal this. Don't worry about the earth. The earth's fine. It's designed to do certain things. The earth is very primed into our base chakra. It's there to transmute negative energy from humans into positive energy. You don't have to worry about that. I've seen that in the astral. So even right now, think of any things that are disturbing your energy bodies that may be fracturing your spirit, your consciousness, your presence. Just putting a bit of a label on it, just identifying it, just looking at it, sending it down the tunnel, down to the earth to be transmuted. And you feel that alleviation. So there's so many ways we have, and I'm moving into probably the next vortex I do, of releasing these inhibitions, releasing these constrictions, these holdings on that we have in the physical. So many ways of doing it. But just to address those major fears, like, am I going to come back? Yes, you will. Do you have control? Yes, no. Are you okay with letting control go? You'll always return to your body with more healing and more realization. So transformation is assured with the astral experience. So that is the greatest thing. So look, I've waffled on about this for quite a while. I've been a bit of a rookie with the comments and sharing the screen. I hope that's okay. This will go up on my YouTube station. I do recommend you subscribe so you know when the next ones are coming up. But if there are any more questions, just let me know. I've got need to have a way of seeing. I think Brother Phil, he recommended to have another screen so I can see what's going on. That's a good idea. And I might just quickly check something here. No, I'm not. I'm not a great multitasker, and that's part of my attention thing. So look, I'm going to close up for now. Thank you for those who are watching. Really appreciate you being on. I see that there are a few of you. If I click that, what happens? I don't know. I won't. But yeah, I do appreciate you being on the show. I'll post this to my YouTube channel. I'll probably be doing this Astral Vortex every Wednesday night, my time, for the time being, around the same time, around 7 o'clock, say on a Wednesday evening, Brisbane time. So I hope you can join me for the next one. We'll go more into some of the techniques you can use to re-prepare yourself, to protect, to empower your astral body to be more conscious. That's probably where we'll go next. So thank you for joining me. Love to see you in the next one. It'll be on next week. Oh, by the way, I'm on tomorrow, Saturday, at 2 o'clock Brisbane time, 3 p.m. Sydney, Melbourne time. I'll be on another podcast with good friends, fellow mystics, Solar Rita and Phil, who joined us tonight. Hope you can join us then. We'll be talking about the potential of healing, energetic healing, and all this, and meditation. This pertains to our journey as humans. So, hope to see you then. Anyway, otherwise, hope to see you next week. Catch up with my live. Hope you can take my Astral course. Any questions, let me know. I really look forward to seeing you next time. Any last questions? Just okay. I can see this. Thanks, Greg. Pleasure. Utopia border control. I'm getting my way around this. I've still got a bit to learn. I think I'll do Brother Phil, who's been out. Well, there you go. I'm just thinking of you, Phil. I think I'll do a bit of a little mini course with you, Phil. You can a little tutorial, because I know Phil is a bit of a whiz with the lives. So pleasure, Phil. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you and everything you share. Thanks, guys. I will wrap this one up now. I'm just a bit slow with the sharing, but I'll get there. I know I will. Okay, hope to see you again next week. Thanks for joining. Been wonderful to be online. How am I going? Almost 50 minutes. Excellent, guys. Lots of love to you all, and thank you for joining me too. Okay, thanks for now. Bye.